So I have two questions. One backing on to Nordstrom. So I think the case seemed to be already that there was the capex, that they're outspending other people. So when people are not spending, presumably they'll be the last man standing and they'll be the category killer. But the question then is, what are they spending on? And so have you seen any evidence of that category killer emerging? And my second question was more to see what, how you deal with the subject that I'm dealing with right now, which is when you like something, but you're still doing work on it, and the stock starts to move, what do you do?
Okay, Aubrey, you wanna take the first one about Nordstrom?
Yeah.
CapEx.
Okay, so what are they spending on? Well, one of the big things that they're spending on is online. And we are seeing phenomenal growth there. And as I said, it's now a third of sales. So we're starting to see that come to fruition. And obviously now it is such a bigger part, it can have a much more meaningful contribution. But then the other thing is there are new stores. There's the New York store. They're also trying out a lot of things with multi-channel, and we quite like this because I think sometimes you have to experiment. So they're trying out some really small format stores where you can order online, order on your iPad, go in, try it on, leave the ones you don't like, take the ones you do. Because one of the big killers to online sales is not just the delivery, but returns. Because it's become such a trend now that you order two items, two coats, exactly the same. One size 44, one size 42, and I send back the 44 because and that really can kill your margins for an online business. So if you can try and find some way of getting around that, you can really improve your online margins. And so trying things like that, I think, could be really good for them.
Yeah, I think so Nordstrom, what attracted me to what they were doing, and we spoke about this in the past, that they were very way ahead of the curve in terms of investing in online, and they've built their infrastructure essentially with that in mind. And the thing with all infrastructure, but retail infrastructure is a difficult one. It's hard to switch it after the fact. So you see a lot of other retailers still struggling with the ability to fulfill orders from a store instead of a warehouse, and then making sure the warehouse ships that item back to the store so the store is always in stock. But like Aubrey mentioned, the experimentation, Nordstrom last year rolled out, they've been early, obviously, like everybody else, in order online, pick up in store, but then they did something which I think is the impotence to this latest Nordstrom local concept, which is order online, try in store. So you order online, and then you go and you say, let's say you're ordering from Selfridges, and you say, I want a jacket, and they'll say, okay, go. Here's a slot about 4:30 p.m. Selfridges on Oxford. Go to the second floor, changing room number 2, and you walk in and you'll see your jacket plus a size bigger and a size smaller, and you try it out, and then you walk out with the one that you like. And once they did that, they took that now and started this Nordstrom local, where they're essentially taking that changing room and putting it in local neighborhoods to kind of shrink the distance that the customer needs to travel to get there. And like Aubrey said, it has the benefit specifically on the return side in terms of costs of shipping, but also on the way out, because one of the hidden costs of shipping 2 jackets instead of 1 is that you now have to have twice the amount of inventory on hand if everybody's buying 2 instead of 1, while that inventory is in going to or coming back from a customer. And so you can have higher inventory turnover if you can solve that problem. And one of the again, it's very early days in terms of the Nordstrom local concept. They've only had it in LA. They're opening them now in New York. But it seems that a significant percentage, there's some evidence that might be a third, will either buy online, buy and try in the shop, or at least return to the local shop instead of ship back. It kind of helps the logistics as well. So the logistics, I think, are one problem that is a problem that needs to be solved, that people who are only focused on maximizing sales are not thinking as hard about. And I think Nordstrom's physical infrastructure being well-placed and profitable gives them an edge over some of their competitors that have expanded into Class B malls and have too many, they're overstored essentially, and need to kill a lot of those stores.